Hey there, future cyber recruits. Are you ready to dive into a world of cybersecurity without spending a dime? And whether you're just starting out or you're looking to boost your skills, I've got 3 incredible projects that you can start today for free. First up, we're going to lure cyber threats in with a honeypot setup, learning to detect and analyze malicious activity just like a pro. Next, I'm going to be showing you phishing analysis and deep diving using real phishing samples, and discover how attackers try to trick us, but how to spot them quickly. Then it'll be time for some hands-on malware analysis. We'll be exploring to see what makes malware tick and how to defend against it. So make sure you stick around to the end of this video so that you'll have the tools and knowledge to tackle real-world cyber threats. So let's get into it. So my name's AJ, and on this channel we teach all things cybersecurity for beginners. And today we're diving into 3 free incredible projects that are going to kickstart your cybersecurity journey. So let's start. So the first project that we're going to be going through is called Cowrie, and that is a honeypot, and I'm going to show you how to set up an SSH honeypot. So a honeypot effectively is a server or a system that you intentionally leave open to the public so that you can see attackers attempting to connect to that honeypot, so we can start to understand what the current behaviors that are taking place with attackers that are on the internet. So they could be scanners or bots, and we want to intentionally find out what they're doing, and we want them to connect to our honeypot so that we can understand what kind of commands they will run as soon as they connect to our device or system or service. So to set up this honeypot, I'm actually using my Kali Linux virtual machine. So first up, I need to install Cowrie. So I'm going to be running this command here. Then I'm going to want to clone the Cowrie repo, so I can run this command here. Then I want to set a Python virtual environment, so I'll be running this command here. Then I want to install the required Python packages, and I'll be running this command here. Then I want to copy the default Cowrie configuration file with this command here. And by default, Cowrie listens on port 2222. If you want to change that in the configuration to port 22, then by all means you can do that as well. Then we can go ahead and start the Cowrie honeypot with this command here. Then we just want to verify that Cowrie is running with this command here. And as we can see, Cowrie is running. Then we want to ensure that Cowrie is listening on the correct port with this command here. And we can see that it is. Then we can actually connect to the honeypot with this command here. I would type in the password. And now we've actually connected to that honeypot. So this is what the attacker would see if they noticed our SSH honeypot available on the internet. They would try to connect to it and start to run commands. So they might start to have a look to see what's here. So this is a very basic honeypot, so there's not actually anything here. So we could just start to write random things. A lot of these commands aren't really going to work because it's a basic honeypot. But the idea is that the attacker will see this publicly available, think, oh, that's interesting, and then want to connect to it and attempt to run specific commands that then we could log to understand what their new behaviors are. This is all from the attacker's perspective. Now I'll show you what it looks like from us when we review the log to see what they did. So you'll want to switch into the directory where you've actually installed Cowrie, and then switch into var log Cowrie, and then tail the log file. And as you can see here, these are all the commands that the attacker, that I just run to test this, but this is where you would see the commands that the attacker would be running. And congratulations, you've done the first project where you've set up a honeypot on your Kali Linux virtual machine. Now, if I was going a little bit too quickly when you were trying to see the commands for the setup of that honeypot, well, we've actually got a free cybersecurity community. It's called Empirical Training. It's on School with a K. That's all you got to do is go in the link in the description, join here for absolutely free, and you can come to the resource section and I'll post it here with all the commands that you need to be able to actually set that honeypot up for yourself. But the second project is actually grabbing phishing samples and doing your own analysis on phishing emails. So you actually want to navigate to this place here, which is on GitHub, and it's phishing pot by RF Auto. So you actually want to come to this GitHub here. As you can see the link, again, it'll be in our community if you need to access it. And then you can simply come in here and start to look through some of these emails. All of these are live phishing emails, and they're actual samples that have been sent to phishing pot that are legitimate malicious emails. So then you can click in a sample, download that sample, and then you can open the sample in something like Thunderbird. You might need to install Thunderbird, but if you need to do that, just contact me in our community to be able to do that. But you can come in here then and have a look through and see some of these phishing emails. And this is an example of a Microsoft account unusual activity phishing email. The idea here then, you're going to come in, get used to seeing what phishing emails actually look like. So for example, the reply to definitely doesn't look like Microsoft. Unusual account sign-in activity, so it's starting to create that urgency for the user, saying that there's been a login from an IP in Russia, so it's starting to alert the user, and then they would go to click on this. So the link is no longer working, and it's actually been removed from this email itself, but most likely it was going to go to an Office 365 phishing domain. So what I want you to do in this project is get comfortable with reviewing these phishing emails. Come and look at the headers, so the email headers can tell you more about where the email came from, and you want to be going through here and getting an understanding of what malicious emails actually look like. Then you'll go through, start opening up various emails. Be careful with the links, and please do this in a virtual machine because they are live links. So you want to be coming in here, copy the link location, and then heading over to tools like URL scan, drop it in a link in URL scan, and then it'll give you a report then to help you understand exactly what is behind that link. So this is going to give you a good understanding of how to actually analyze malicious phishing emails. So what you want to be doing, going through the headers, downloading the actual email itself, going through it just to understand what it actually looks like, what kind of common themes that attackers are using, and then use tools like URL scan to determine where the link is actually going. The third and final project is going to be downloading live malware samples and using malware sandboxes to actually do analysis on these files. So make sure you're in a virtual machine when you download these files because they're live malware files. So the basis of this video, I'm going to be looking for malicious PDFs. So we can go into something like Malware Bazaar, search for PDFs. Then we can come in here, pick a PDF of our choice. Then as we click into that PDF, then we can actually make a download of that specific PDF. So this will give us some indicators about that PDF and why it's malicious, but we want to download it, take a sample and download. Then we want to extract it here. Password is infected. And now we can start doing our analysis on this file. So it's everybody's favorite VirusTotal, but as all cybersecurity analysts do use this tool, so it's good to get experience with it, even though it is well known. Open it in here, upload your file, and as you can see here, then it detects it as malware, and it has been previously, and it was actually analyzed 2 days ago. But you can come in here and it'll give you a good indication, more details about the file, start to understand the different relations, any other detections along with the file, and you can actually look into some behavior of the file and which MITRE attack techniques is triggered and different categories of malware behavior that it's actually flagged on. So the idea here then, you'd be coming through here and actually understanding what these PDFs have actually been doing. So if you were a cybersecurity analyst, and what I do on a daily basis, I'd be analyzing these files, and then anything picked up as an indicator of compromise, which is an example of the IP address here, I'd be looking at that across our log infrastructure or network infrastructure to understand if there has been any indications that this file has been downloaded onto one of our hosts and it is connected to this malicious IP address. So the whole idea here then is that you build this list of indicators of compromise, or IOCs, and attempt to run the search across the login infrastructure in the company that you're working for to detect malicious activity. And another great tool that I like for automated malware analysis, we can actually interact with the file as well, which is app.any.run. So you can open the file in here, very much like you can with VirusTotal, but what it's going to do is run the analysis, but generate a quick virtual machine, 30 seconds, so that we can actually interact with the file, which sometimes you need to do with malware analysis, because sometimes the file might open the PDF and it might trigger, there might be a link inside. VirusTotal can't always analyze files like this if it needs user interaction, so I like a tool like this to be able to do that. And as you can see here, it opens it up in a virtual machine, and it's got the file itself, so we can actually review the file, so we can actually see the contents of the file in a safe scenario. And what we can see here then is that it drops the processes to help us understand what processes are actually taking place and what are being dropped. And we can do the analysis on these then to understand what actually is malicious. And we can also come down here then, you can see all of the connections that are being made by that file and those processes, all the DNS requests that are being made. So it'll do a complete analysis for us. And once the time is up, it'll give us a full picture of what is going on with this file. So the idea with this project then is to build your analysis skills when it comes to analyze malicious files. You will just want to come back in here, look at the Malware Bazaar database, and start to get a grasp on how to understand and how to actually analyze each one of these file types. So maybe zip files, exe files, XLS files, JavaScript files, This will help you start to build up your analysis so that when it comes to actually working as a cybersecurity analyst, you're going to be very, very good at being able to quickly do malware analysis on any file type. So to conclude then, you were able to set up a honeypot to gather intelligence on current attacker behaviors. And with the second project, you're able to analyze live phishing emails like a pro. And the third project taught you how to use malware sandboxes to analyze live malware samples. So each of these projects actually relates what you could be doing as a cybersecurity analyst, which is what I've been doing for the last 8 years. And this is why we teach it in our community. So thank you for watching. We've covered 3 powerful projects that can help you get started in cybersecurity. Now, if you're looking for more project ideas, go and watch this video next.